Hello everyone, and welcome to the Living Room at Home workshops, where we bring the Living Room Community Art Studio to you. This time of year, we can usually be found at Oshawa's annual Peony Festival, making art and celebrating these beautiful flowers. But since we can't be there this year in person, we wanted to bring some of that beautiful peony magic to you. So we will be making coffee filter peonies. Here's what you'll need: some coffee filters, a spray bottle with water, scissors, a glue stick, some pipe cleaners, a few markers if you like, and a selection of bingo dabbers in all different colors. To start, we're going to begin preparing our peony petals and leaves. Take your coffee filters and flatten them out as best as you can. Now just start by dabbing the color all around. We're using water-soluble markers or inks here, or even food coloring, so that the colors will blend together beautifully later on. Once your coffee filter is filled with colorful dabs, grab your spray bottle and spritz it a couple of times to bring the colors to life. If you like, you can even fold your filter over to blend the colors further. Give it a light press. Once you have it sprayed and the colors are blending in the way you like, set it aside to let it dry. And now we'll move on to the petals. This one I like to stack up a couple of coffee filters at the same time because the inks will soak through them once we spray them. It's just a little shortcut. And then we do the same thing all over again, choosing the colors you love. And now it's time to spray again. And then once that one's ready, you can put it aside as well. And the last piece. What we're going to try and recreate here is the center of the peony, the stamen. To spray again. And now we'll set that one aside to dry as well. Once your coffee filters are dry, then you can get to work giving them some shape. I'm going to start with the base of my peony, which is going to be the leaf. We begin by folding it over to create 6 segments. And then cutting them into leafy kind of points. Just like cutting a snowflake, a paper snowflake, you want to make sure that you keep the center intact. And for all the kids out there making peonies with us, make sure you have an adult with you to help you with the scissors. Once you get the shape you like, put aside those scraps because we're going to be using them in a little bit. You can unfold it and take a look. And now's the time if you would like to add any additional color with any markers that you might have on hand, you can do so. Even just a little bit on the edges can give it a lot of definition. And now we can move on to the rest of the flower. I've decided to make a single peony, so I'm going to be making 8 petals. So I'm going to fold it equally to create 4 segments. Now that you have your folded up petals, we're going to cut them to give them some more shape. So again, starting on one side, I'm going to do a nice big curve. And when I get to the top of the petal, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a crimp to get that effect I love. Hold on to those scraps so that we can use them later. Your peony petals should look something like this. Now I'll put those aside to move on to my stamen. For this piece, we are going to fold it over as many times as you can while still being able to cut. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut towards the center. What you're doing is creating a kind of fringe. It's a bit like working with a Muppet. So once this piece is done, I'm going to start assembling the peony. Remember those scraps we made earlier? We're going to gather those and scrunch them up into a ball. Now once you have that, we're going to layer our peony. So we're going to start at the bottom of your peony, arranging them slightly off center, overlapping so you can see each petal. Get your glue stick and secure them together with a little dab of glue in the center. And same with the stamen piece. Now that your petal layers are all stuck together, we're going to grab that scrap pom-pom that we made, and we're going to flip over our peony to the back and place that in its center. Next, we're going to grab one of those pipe cleaners. Have it on hand. Flip this back over, holding that scrap pom-pom in place, and bunch the whole peony right around that pom-pom scrap, using the pipe cleaner to secure it. So just wrap that around. Once you have that piece, you'll start opening up the other side of the peony again. Flip it over and begin to flatten it out. Pressing down that center if you like, to give it a little bit more shape and form. Now once you're at this stage, I recommend trimming that stamen. So pull up all those center bits and pieces. Oh, there's some sneaky ones that found their way behind. Once you have your stamen pieces all gathered together, grab that pair of scissors and give them a haircut. And then open them up again. Now we just got to shape the petals. So when you look at a peony, you can't help but notice those beautiful cup-like petals. That feels about right to me. How beautiful and summery is that? Now, some people like to leave their peonies just like this, right? But if you like, you can add on your leaves. So that means putting another dab of glue in the center over here and attaching your beautiful flower petals to your leaves. And there you have it, your very own coffee filter paper peony. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you had lots of fun making peonies with us. And huge thanks to the City of Oshawa for inviting us to be a part of this online Peony Festival this year. If you like this video, there's plenty more like it over on the Living Room Community Art Studios YouTube page. Come on over, subscribe, and say hi. Bye now.